because I don't know why this one's not recording automatically. Let me see if I can fix that real quick so that the next time, because I'm afraid I'm going to forget if I have to do it manually. I thought I had it set to automatic recording. I know with 120 I do. Has anybody dealt with these things in the evaluations there? Well, anyway, hopefully, because I want to show you a couple of things that'll help. Because like I said, it's an exercise, and I really don't know that we need it as an exercise. But like I said, I can't take it out of the path, but it never ends up in a test. But like I said, it is a good exercise. All right, so where's the darn record at? Just give me okay.
You need to write into that problem. What is to see if it's a permutation?
Well, those are factorials. It's pre-permutation. Okay, these are factorials, and that's what the permutations, the combinations based upon.
Right.
But like I said, it's because it's a weird kind of thing that, like I said,
big numbers around.
It really does no use other than to just give you an exercise. But we'll go ahead and we're going to work this out. All right. All right. So if you don't, if there's something about it you don't understand, feel free to ask. Like I said, I'm going to try to fill in blanks as much as I can. All right. Let me make that a little bit shorter. Because I want to break it into two parts. Okay, this would be for the 1. And this would be for the other. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write 5 factorial over this one. And down here, I'm going to put the 3 factorial. And this makes it a little bit easier, in my opinion, to handle. All right, that's supposed to be over each other, but you get the idea, huh? And then over here, it's going to be the 9. And I'm going to handle each one of those separately and then put them back together. But I think this is the best way to handle it. All right, and those are being multiplied, okay? In other words,
okay,
we're multiplying those two together. Because we broke them apart, but that's what that means when they're next to each other like that, they're being multiplied. So I just broke them apart so we can handle them separately. Now,
five factorial.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an equal sign here. Now, this 5 factorial is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And down here, the 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1. Now, dividing up, anytime we have anything over itself, in other words, 3 over 3. Oops.
Counts out.
Yeah. And I know that's the term that most people describe it, even math teachers. But technically what's happening is you're dividing 3 by 3, which ends up being 1. They're not technically going away. so much is it's turned into a 1, because anything divided by itself is 1. All right. So then 1 over 1 is just 1. 2 over 2 is 1. 3 over 3 is 1. Okay. So that's that side. And what's left is the 5 times 20. All right. I'm sorry, 5 times 4, which is 20. Now, on the second one, let me change that to blue.
Excuse me.
All right, so over here. Now, if they had, for this exercise, if they had put the 9 up at the top and the 7 over the in the bottom, I wouldn't have so much trouble with this. But like I said, they just have this in the path, and they always do this. So this one ends up just being a whole number of 20, as I'll show you. But over here on this side, all right, it's 7 factorial. And then the 9, I tell you what, I don't need to put that because it's already over there, isn't it? So what I'm going to put here is 7. This is bigger, so it's going to be more of them. Those are all being multiplied. So down here, it's 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5. And I'm just going to go dot, 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 down to 1. So all of these, it's 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. I might be able to fit it in there. Yeah. All right. So in the same way, now these are all multiplied. In the same way that the other ones went away, the same thing's going to happen here. But here, the 9 and the 8, like I said, it's reversed. And if the big one was on the 9 factorials in the top and the 7 in the bottom, I would like this better. So these are all going to be going away because they're all 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. And so what's left is up here, it's 1. And down here is 9 times 8. So up at the top, we've got 5. 5 times 4.
We got 20.
Yeah, it's 20. I'm going to show it in a second.
Yeah, so they can look it.
All right. I'm just going to make another fraction. And down here is 9 times 8. All right. Now we can take out anything that's common top to bottom, and then between 4 and 8 there is. So same old thing. 4 goes into there to itself 1 time and into 8 twice. So up at the top, see, that's why we didn't need to put 20. You could have, and just take 20 and divided it by 72. But here's the problem is they want us to keep it as a fraction. So this, you can't really do it in the Alex calculator, even though it would do it as, you can do the fractions, because it'll give you the answer as a decimal.
Right.
So that's one reason why I wanted to do this.
So when they say simplified, I mean they want you to keep it in the fraction form?
Yes. So this is 5. And in the denominator, it's 9 times 2, which is 18. So that's what you want to put it in. There's no common factor between 5 and 18, so we're done.
Okay.
I might do another one just so I can show you a little bit shorter. Because if you understand that, you can shorten it a bit by using the factorial expressions. So this is our answer. All right. Any questions about that?
No, thank you. I understand it now.
No.
Okay. All right. I'm going to see if I can make up another one real quick. Unless one of y'all got one. I'll just make one up here. All right. So let's see. And, all right. So hopefully this one will work out well. All right. So I'm going to see if I can write it here. I want to see if I can take out all this. And that way I'll have more white to work on. So let's do one more here. And if you got any other questions, feel free to ask, because like I said, we're going to go to about 6:15. But anything that you're working on, I'm always happy to get questions, because in this class, it's really hard to kind of have dead time. Like in a classroom, I can, get an assignment and walk around and talk to people. It's hard to do that here. All right. So here's the one I'm going to put. Same instructions to evaluate.
Mr. Cruz, I like to go with odds in favor and odds against.
Okay. We should have time to do that, because this only took about 15 minutes to do that one. So I think we'll finish by 5 minutes on this one. I'm going to do it a little bit quicker because I got a shorter way to do it. All right. So now I'm still going to break them apart. But up here, I'm going to use that same kind of technique. And I talked about this when we first went over these back in 10.3. Wherever we went over the first time we went over factorials, which I think it's 10.2, 10.3. All right. So what I'm going to do up here is I'm going to just count down to 6, 5. Now, instead of going all the way down, I'm going to stop at 4 factorial, because in the denominator, that 4 factorial matches the one in the denominator. So rather than write them all out, I'm just stopping at the one at the bottom, because that way I can just get rid of it without having to write every one of them out. Okay, so that's that one. So over here, I'm going to do the same thing, except the big number is going to be at the bottom. So up here, it's just 10 factorial. I'm going to keep that one. It just flips. That's the 10 factorial that it's up there. And then down here, I'm going to count down, and I'm going to start with 12
Stop at 10.
and stop at 10 factorial. You got to remember, that's not just a plain 10 up there. Okay. So rather than just count all the way down to 1 like I did up at the top, this allows me to do a bigger number and not have to sweat it so much. So now these are gone in 1. So we're left with just 30 up top. Here, the 10 factorial and this 10 factorial take each other out. And in the denominator, we have
132.
12 times 11. So I'm going to not multiply them yet, because if we can find common factors top to bottom.
Oh, that's right. Count. Reduce them.
Because we could put 30, and then at the top would be whatever that is. It's like 130 something. But then we still got to simplify it, because that's what they say, simplify as much as possible. So usually with fractions, if you simplify before you multiply, you save yourself a lot of grief. Okay, so here 6 goes into itself one time, and in here twice. So up at the top, all we got left is a 5.
Might be a total different.
5 times 1. And then at the bottom, it's 2 times 11, or 22. And since there's no common factor between 5 and 22, then this is in simplest form. So for example, if it was 25 down there, then we could simplify it to 1/5, but this one's done. And usually when you take them all out over here, that means you don't have to do them at the end. Because when they have those big numbers, it's a lot harder to find the common factor. Now, if you know how to use your TI calculator, that one does simplify the fractions. All right, so any questions on that?
No.
Okay, good. I'm going to go ahead now, since I had a request for the odds stuff. We'll handle that and do that for the next 20 minutes, and then I'll set you free, and we'll have like a workshop. Like I said, is you can work on this and keep on here, and then I'll talk about things that'll help, and then you can ask questions if need be. All right, so we gotta erase all this.
Mr. Cruz,
Mm-hmm.
I be trying to like go over the work I've done, and I can't. Like Alexa don't let you go over the like we in what 10.5 or 6. You can't go back over and do the last assignment again.
Yeah, you can. It's called review. Look.
I'll spring
All
that
right.
right there.
See, the thing is, I don't have I gotta do a student view in order to end up like yours. But let me see if I can explain this, because it's a little bit counterintuitive, all right, on how it works. All right. So I've not done anything in this one on the 020 side, so it's got all these pop-ups. All right. So let's say I've completed stuff, and hopefully. So here's the two things. If you just stay and learn, it will always take you where you need to go, and make sure that you get through the whole course. All right. It will never take anything out of your path until you consistently master it. And you just got to remember, even if you completed it on time, before, there was any late penalty, then you still get knowledge checks on it, and it'll ding you for that, because the way that the learning path works is it's got a very high bar, and so if you do like 3 in a row kind of thing that you get them right, you don't see it again, and that goes with the learning path too. If you miss something in the learning path, it'll put it back in your path. I'm sorry, if you miss on your knowledge check, it will put it back on your learning path. But see this right here, review. This allows you to review anything that
So
you've
where is
already
that?
done.
Like every time I click on that, it always take me to Union. I do
Takes you
something
to what?
to Union.
Well,
Oh,
that's because did you the only thing I can think is
I be want
I'm
to.
not 100% sure it worked, but that's the way that you review. All right,
I be want to
is
review the
using that
work we
tool.
already on, like to make sure I'm passing my test. So it's just hard to.
Okay, well, let me just say is if you trust the path and just go through learn, it's going to do that for you. All right. In other words, if you let's say you made 100 on your 10.5, all right, it's you won't see any for a while, but when that knowledge check pops up, it's going to test you and see if you know it. So that's what it's doing. But anyway, let me find a problem so I can get the thing you was talking about.
All right.
But like I said, that's the way it does. It's because you got to realize those assignments don't exist individually like you think. Canvas, well, I'm sorry, Alex does have them as assignments in there. They used to not have that. I don't know why they changed to that. And then those assignments, they do kind of sync back over to Canvas for grades, and you can click on them and it'll take you on there. But like I said, just do learn, and for the most part, you'll be all right. Because when you get to that, because they won't ever let you forget anything. Believe me,
But
they
I
make you
forget. It ain't gonna
consistent.
let you forget. But if I need to touch on something I learned, you can't go back in it and review.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's just not individual assignments. You got to realize that you're going through everything in the course always.
Not good if you test and you want to work on what you
Well,
tested.
that's why you got to review. That's why I
It
put
do
those
let you
reviews up. Those
review. You
reviews are
gotta
mine.
hit. You gotta hit review on. You have to hit review. It's gonna show you
Hmm.
everything that you did if you hit review on Alexa.
Right. It's just that it's going
So
to take it in some kind of order. Um, what you're thinking, Felicia, is that you can go to each one individually, but it'll take you through the ones. All
yeah,
right,
it
let's
will take you through. It's not gonna
yeah,
take you indivisible. If you click on review, it's gonna take
it will
you
take you.
to whichever ones.
All right.
All right.
All right, let's see if we got enough time for this one here.
Okay.
I think we did the Wii bowling, or did we? I know I did that in one of my classes. All right.
Did the repo.
So let's do these. This one. All right. Your friends have taken bets on whether you will pass this class. Sounds like maybe you need new friends. I find the probability that you will pass given these specific odds. So each one of these is going to result in a different probability because the odds are different. All right. They're different scenarios. It's not like when we had you're going to pick 4 people, you got 7 women and 5 men, so the total is 12, and that denominator stays the same for each one. These are different. They're giving you a different scenario each time with the odds. So let me show you. All right. Okay, remember, this is in favor. All right. So that means that this is A and this is B. On against, this is B and that's A. So that's the first thing we need to remember. Okay. Now that we got these, then this is really a simple way to handle. So probability of pass is equal to, so I'm going to make a fraction. All right, so I'm looking for success here. It's asking, find the probability you will pass the class. So with that, in the numerator, you're going to have A. If it's were to say you will not pass, then there's a B going to go up there. And then down here, for both, would be A plus B, because the order doesn't matter. All right. So A is 7. And then the denominator is 7 plus 4. So this ends up being 7/11. So the probability that you pass is 7/11 if you want to look at it on a calculator, because the calculator, putting it in decimal form, can kind of put it more in perspective. All right. So 7 divided by 11 is 0.64. So about 64% chance of passing.
How did you know to keep the numerator 7?
Because of
You
this.
just moved it over?
Look at this.
Okay. Oh, you use that
See that
phone.
right there?
Yeah, you plugged that phone. Okay, you plugged in.
Yeah. Because that's the formula for probability in coming from odds. If it's a success, which in this case passing is a success, then A is going to be up here. All right. And down at the bottom is A plus B. And it doesn't matter about the order down there. Let's do this one here so I'll have more room. Let's do this one. So this was A. Because I wanted to do one for and one against. There's 2 of each, but we'll do that just so we have one. So now the probability of pass is A. Well, it's going to be the same one. If it said probability of failure, I'll do that one next. I'll just add one to it. But anyway, now this is going to be, since it's still the probability of success passing, it's going to be this same thing here. The same formula is going to be used. So I'm going to use that same one. So now, though, the numbers are different. So the A is 1 and B is 4. All right, so this is going to be 1 over 1 plus 4. So in this, it's a 1/5 probability of passing.
So up here, A saying in favor of passing, and then D is saying against you passing. I just get twisted up.
Okay, well, let me just try to take you through this again. Odds in favor is A to B.
A to B.
All right.
Odds in
That's
favor.
and that means the numerator, if it's odds in favor, then the first one is the numerator for your passing.
Okay.
And the B would be the numerator for fail. So let's say if I wanted to find the probability of not passing for each of these. Find the probability of failing. Okay. And I'm going to do the same ones. All right. So it's going to involve the same numbers. It's not much different. But now the probability of passing, I'm sorry, failing is slightly different. It's still down here, A plus B, but up here, there's a B. All right. So the B was 4. So for this one, probability of not pass is equal to,
I gotta
in this
learn.
case, what's B in this case?
Oh,
4.
4. So I gotta learn the
And then,
formulas.
well, yeah. I mean, but if you do them a few times, you should be able to get them in your head. It's just that you
So
don't want
not
to fret,
pass
O'Brien.
would be B over A plus B.
Yeah, and let me just show you. You remember the complement rule. The complement rule is in play here with the probabilities. Like I said, they didn't ask for probability of not passing or probability of failure. But look, 7 from 11 gives you 4. So you can also look at like that. But the denominator stays the same for either one because they're complements of one another.
Okay.
So the same thing down here. So the probability of not passing in the case of D all right. So this time B is 4. And then down here, it's the same one. What was it? Oh, it's 5, still 5. 1 plus 4. And you see 1/5 plus 4/5 gives you 5/5, which just proves that the complement rule in action. So that's the gist of it. I might do one more,
So
just one.
one more question. So that P
Okay.
not passing, that's like odds against. That's the formula for odds.
No, this is the probability of not passing. Now, what I'm going to do, like I said, this is from odds to probability. Let's do one real quick. Let's do this one and this one. It's that one where you got to have the sample space. I think I got it handy so I can show it up. All right. So odds in favor of getting a 3. So what we got to have the probability to go forward. We got to have the probability of 3, and that means sum of 3. Okay. So let's go back over here and look at our sample space. Closed it. All right, so I got to erase all this. But we're recording it if you want to come back and look at it. All right.
Yes.
All right. So how many of these are sums of 3?
Two.
There's 2 of them. So going back over here, and that's out of 36. So that's 2 over 36.
Excuse me. 2, 4.
And I'm just going to go ahead and we got to simplify it. 1/18. All right. Now, this is the probability of getting a 3. So therefore, this right here is your A. All right. So the probability of not getting a 3, I'm going to do that one, is the complement. So it's 1 from 18. So that means 19 over 3. I'm sorry, 19. What in the world did I do? It's 1 from 18 is 17. There we go. And then we keep the same denominator. So see, these are complements of whatever, which is the way it should be. The probability of an event and the probability of that not same event. These have to add up to 18. So 1 from 18 gives us 17 is the numerator for that one, for the not 3. So that's your B. So odds in favor is A to B. All right. So this is 1, 2, 17. So this is your odds in favor. So odds against, I'm not going to do C just because of time. I'm just going to say, let's do the same one for odds against. So odds against is B to A. So we just turn them around. So what would be the odds against in this case of getting a 3? Well, it's 17 to 1. Does that give you a better idea how it works? Like I said, the numerators
Yeah.
give you your A and B, and then you just put them in the order of, A to B if it's odds in favor, and then B to A if it's odds against.
Okay. I hope we'll see.
Yeah, well, I'm saying is you
Okay,
got to
it's
get
better.
in.
It's better understood now. I got better.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole idea of doing this is so I can go over stuff and give you a few pointers because I know that it doesn't stick on that initial lecture because it just really helps to ask again and have it done in a different way, I guess you would say, or have it done again with me highlighting things a little bit better.
Just doing it again, period. One time.
Yeah, just going through with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way learning works.
Yeah. I need
You know,
repetitions.
you know, uh, this is why some teachers are teachers, and they give nice, great lectures, and that's fine. But students generally don't learn linearly. You can't just shove it in like that, like you would think. Students have questions, so you revisit and you go backwards, and students learn in different orders. So that's why it's important, and that's why I like to have these times where it's informal, where we ask questions and go over things that you're dealing with. All right, so it should be about time to work on that in-class assignment. So over here,
Not yet. It says it opens at 6:16. Not yet.
oh, I've got 16 in there.
Yeah. It
Okay,
says
so this one's done. Well, it'll be just a few minutes then. By the time I go in there and changed it, it'll be,
okay.
but it's just 3 problems.
Mhm.
One is just an evaluation of the it's very much like that first thing I started with, but it's just permutations. One over, I think there's 2 of them over 1. So that one, but it's not like the one we just did. Like I said, it's and you can do it on the calculator easily. And then the other one is a pick this and this kind of thing, and combinations. And then the other one is about a lock. So with that, you got to use permutations. So anyway, it should be open now. Let me know if you don't see it. And then I'm going to try to go in there myself and bring up mine. And then I'll try to give you some pointers as you go. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to work. And then I'll come and I'll so as I said, it is for these type 1s, even though the way they look in the problem looks like you could and now once you do it, you can take these out if you want to, or you can do those two by themselves, the top, and then divide by that denominator. But like I said, you got to have the parentheses in order to tell it what to divide by, into. And like I said, if you write it just like that, it's going to get confused. So you need the parentheses at least to get it into the fraction form. And remember, you got to watch the this. Sometimes they'll say 3 spaces, sometimes they'll say 2 spaces. That's usually the most common ones. Sometimes they'll say exact answer, which is going to be in a fraction usually. But 3 decimal places would be right there. So that would be 0.336 because the 5 gets bumped up because the one next to it is above, it's 5 or above. All right, so y'all give that a try. If you want to do it by hand, you'll impress me a lot because math is about accuracy. So if you do it by hand and then do it with a calculator and they match, then you know you got the right answer. You can have confidence when you hit the check thing or hit submit if it's on a test or quiz.